How's it going, guys? Cody, guys, back again, dropping out another video. Right, guys, this is a story in the MK Citizen, which is obviously Milton Keynes. The headline reads, "Mother vows to get answers about how her son died in Milton Keynes prison." A vulnerable young Woodhill prisoner who was found dead in his cell was never given a mental health assessment at the jail due to staff shortages and inquest heard. Ryan Harvey, 23, had learning difficulties and had a history of drug and alcohol abuse. He was found hanging in his cell in May 2015, just days after he arrived at the prison. His death was the 8th in a series of 18 self-inflicted deaths at HMP Woodhil over a 3-year period from 2013 to 2016. 4 of those who died before Ryan had also been newly arrived prisoners on the induction wing. Significant public scrutiny arose from them deaths, and changes were made to the regime at the prison. Changing the regime is not going to improve mental health services and stuff like that, is it? Overcrowding and what you go through psychologically. However, the most recent inspection of HMP Woodhill found the prison is still not safe enough, and there has been deaths over the past year. This week, coroner Tom Osborne heard Ryan had made previous attempts at suicide, but staff had caught him with a ligature around his neck. But on that occasion, they did not take the ligature away. Now, I covered this yesterday, guys, and I lost my plot yesterday when I covered this story in another article, which was dissimilar, different to this. As a result, staff were observing Ryan through the window every 30 minutes. But they did not go into the cell because he threatened to throw a television at them. The inquest heard that the healthcare staff shortages at the jail, with a team of 4 people supporting 800 prisoners. The head of healthcare has asked for a mental health assessment to be carried out on Ryan, but it was never completed. Ryan's family is claiming that there was wholesale system failures at Woodhill at the time of his death. Last year, prison officer Joseph Travers was cleared of gross negligence, manslaughter, following Ryan's death. The jail was slammed in court for a series of appalling systematic failures. The inquest continues. Meanwhile, Ryan's mother, Elisa Harvey, God bless Ryan Harvey, my thoughts and prayers with your mother and family, said, "We've waited a long time to get answers to our questions about how Ryan was treated. Ryan didn't fit into this world and didn't think things through. I only wish he got the help he so desperately needed. It's so upsetting to hear about another death in the prison in the past few days. I sincerely hope that everyone attending the inquest so does with the aim of finding out what went wrong so we can make sure it doesn't happen again. There are no further deaths in Woodhill this year or any other year." Selin Cav, the inquest charity caseworker who supported many families bereaved by deaths in Woodhill, said, "The inquest is an important opportunity to examine the systematic and repeated failures by HMP Woodhill in relation to Ryan's death. We hope the hearing will reinvigorate public scrutiny of actions of the prison, which over the past 3 years is not being safe." It's still not being safe, it's still not safe. Guys, now, like I say to you, right, now, people that go to prison and get sent to prison, surely the aim of prison is so that you leave in a better position than when you entered. Now, that simply doesn't happen. Rehabilitation doesn't take place in prison, and sadly, those first few days in prison, that's when most prisoners seem to seek suicide as a way out. Takes an awful lot of bollocks, really, to carry out a suicide. Some people will stand there, if they've been put on basic, they'll stand there with a razor blade and threaten to slash up if they don't get a television. And I've seen it in my last prison, Forest Bank, and they rewarded him with a television. You've got other prisoners like Ryan Harvey, God bless him, may rest in peace, where they found a ligature around his neck the first time. They didn't take it off him, guys. It shows his intent. If you catch a man with a noose around his neck, what do you think his intentions are? It sounds like he later used that same ligature to commit suicide, which is just horrific. Mentally ill prisoners and prisoners with mental health issues in general should not be in prison. When you're in prison, guys, any issues you've got in your life, remember a lot of these prisoners, before they've ever been offenders, they've first been victims. Like I say, growing up in care leavers, sexually abused, physically abused, emotionally abused, bullied, mental health issues, battled addiction. We've not had the best starting lives for the most part. And like I say, before offenders were ever offenders, they was first victims. And then when you're in prison, like any issues you've got in your whole life, your life catches up with you when you're in prison. And you start to think, you overthink, you start to dwell. And I said it in 1,000 vlogs, right? The most dangerous thing in prison isn't the other prisoners, isn't the spice, isn't the drugs, isn't the weapons, do you know what I mean? Isn't the understaffing, isn't the like spice. Most dangerous thing in prison, your own mind. Your own mind can be your best friend or your worst of enemies. And you battle an invisible force. And like I say, prison, any issues you've got in your life, they get magnified whilst you are in prison. And like I say, anyone that thinks that prison's a holiday camp or it's easy simply has never been in prison, or they're doing the whole macho thing. If they come out of prison, oh yeah, prison's this. Prison, you can have it. Like I said, I've had some good times in prison. I'm not going to lie, but as men, what we do the whole macho thing that, oh, prison doesn't bother us and blah blah blah. The reality that prison very much is a punishment. If you've got something, the prison isn't a punishment to those that have got nothing. If you come in and you're homeless and it's free, it started snowing here in Manchester now. Right? If you're on the streets yet, sleeping in a shop doorway, spiced out your head 24/7, and you get arrested committing an offence, because obviously you've got to feed your habit. If you have indeed got an habit or an alcoholic, you get arrested. Yeah, you might have done it 100 times before, you end up being sent to prison. If you've been lifted off the streets in like near sub-zero temperatures, right, struggling to survive, and you're picked up and put in prison, you're sort of being rescued, even though prison messes with your head. Them people, they're below rock bottom. So then by putting them in prison, they've got a roof over their head and 3 meals a day. If you've got anything, if you've got a loved one or a family or a support network or friends or children or accommodation, right, on the out, then prison is a massive punishment. And like I say, too many prisoners, sadly, are seeking suicide as a way out. Prisons are just cheap alternatives to psychiatric units. If you support a lot of these mentally ill prisoners in a psychiatric unit, costs around £250,000, £350,000 a year. To house a prisoner in prison costs about £40,000 a year. So people see the offending, they don't see the root cause of offending, and mentally ill prisoners simply, in a nutshell, should not be in prison. I don't care how big and how bad and how strong you think you are. Go to prison and it will bring you to your knees at different times. Some people more than others, do you know what I mean? Some people are just dehumanized, desensitized, demoralized and disenfranchised when they entered. But like I say, losing your liberty, if you've never lost your liberty, you can't relate to it. You lose your liberty and then you know. And trust me, it's a punishment. And like I say, there's 3 ways you can leave prison, guys. Through the gate, released. Over the wall, escape happens every now and again. Mainly from Cat D's, which, to be honest, it's an open prison anyway. Open conditions. Or in a body bag. And sadly, too many prisoners live in a body bag now. Ryan Harvey's death was obviously in 2015. God bless him, may rest in peace. It annoys me that the inquest takes years to reach its conclusion. It seems to be ongoing now. Like I say, my thoughts and prayers are with Ryan Harvey's friends and family. I'll tell you straight, at the end of the inquest, what will happen is that the coroner will find that will publish their findings and stuff. The inquest charity will publish it online. The prison will be contacted. They'll say, since Ryan's death, we have implemented X, Y, and Z. We've recruited we've recruited 3,333 prison officers, not that prison particularly, the prison system. We've invested £70 million in security and decency and all this shit, right? And our thoughts and prayers are very much with Ryan's friends and family. And we've taken on what the coroner's findings and the inquest findings are. And the reality is they don't give a shit. Just shallow words. And like I say, for me, the family should definitely seek damages and sue the prisons. Not for the financial cost, not for the financial compensation, because, like I say, compensation is not going to bring Ryan back, is it? God bless him, may rest in peace. But hit the Ministry of Justice in the pocket so that they think twice before they let prisoners die in such a way. How can you be on a watch, on a suicide watch, right? And they're only checking you every 30 minutes. If you are determined to commit suicide, right, and you've worked it out that they're coming every half an hour, as soon as they pop you off lap and then disappear again, bam, you're going to string up. It's disgusting, guys. They haven't got the staff to carry out observations around the clock. They just haven't. And And this is why they need to reduce the prison population and improve mental health services. For healthcare, 800 prisoners. That is mental. That is absolutely mental. Disgusting, guys. Doesn't shock me, sadly. But again, my thoughts and prayers are with Ryan Harvey's family and friends. Sadly, lessons will not be learned. And sadly, anything that the prisons say on the back of it will just be exactly that, empty, hollow words. Meanwhile, a mother has had to bury her son. Shouldn't happen. On that note, guys, going to leave it there. God bless Ryan Harvey. May he rest in peace. Like, comment, subscribe. Cody out.